Hi, I'm Violet Van Hees, and this is Grow Your Movement Freedom. Welcome to 2016, and welcome to my first video of 2016. So today we're going to look at backs. Your back runs right down through the center of you, and it's also in the center of pretty well everything that you do. And your back is pretty interesting because it's actually designed to be able to work with strength, with comfort, and with freedom all at the same time. But that's often not how it feels. So today we're going to look at how your back works, and I'll give you a couple of tips for how to let your back work like that for you. So first of all, let's take a look at how your back is set up. How it's actually designed. And this guy is not entirely to size, to scale, all those things are perfectly designed, but gives you an idea anyways. So your back is pretty interesting. It's this long column that comes down the center of you actually. And if we look sideways here, you'll see that the pokey bits, the part that we think of as our back, we think, oh, this is my back here, is actually just the pokey bits that stick back. These prominences that stick out that muscles and ligaments can attach to. And the belly of your spine is actually in towards the center of you there. This one's a bit exaggerated in size. But you can see that the pokey bits in the back of the back are about that long, and then there's the belly of the spine. So the belly of the spine, the center of your spine, the weight-bearing section of your spine is really, this far inside you. So it really comes into the center of you, not along the back side of you. So it is kind of like a mast of the ship. It's coming up your center, and it's like you have the ropes or the guy lines of your ship coming down various sides of your structure around it, with a mast in the center. And it's really interesting because the mast is actually made up of separate bits. So your spine, if you imagine it's like spools, spools of thread that are set up one on top of another with a disc in between that's got this toothpastey stuff in it. So those are the discs in the spine with the spinal bones in between. And then suspended in columns of connective tissue, of fascia, of ligaments, of muscles, all sorts of tissue that surround the spinal cord itself and surround and support the spine. And your spine is designed to move in little bits all the way along that whole length. So your spine works best when at each point along the way there's a little bit of movement, but in no place there's too much movement. So if I imagine you're laying down, and imagine this is your spine while you're laying down, and imagine that the whole spine, all the joints in my fingers are like bones in the spine, and all the joints move a little bit, and they create a curvature, right? They create a curve so you could be bending forward. Imagine bending like this. So I'm bending towards the ground here, bending forward, and opening up again. Now here's the thing. A lot of us get stiff or tight, or make ourselves stiff or tight in one section of our spine. So by sucking your abs in or by tightening up your muscles around your spine, you're bracing sections of your spine, but that reduces the movement in the spine. And then when you have a long column that's been set up, ideally to spread out the weight along all those little sections, but now some of the sections are braced, so this section and this section become braced, then there's a whole lot of movement that happens in one place, above or below the sections that are braced. And you can imagine how much strain and how much difficulty that creates in the place that's moving. Way too much movement, way too much force, way too much ask in one place in your spine while the rest of it stays rigid. And this is how a lot of our spinal troubles come up. So it's ideal to find out if you can spread out the work through the whole length of your spine so that your whole column can do little bits of movement, so that when I look up, I'm not doing just one thing in my neck or one thing in my lower back. I'm actually looking up with my whole length to be able to look up, and no one place in my neck or my back is doing too much. So here's your tip for today. If you want to help your spine to work really well and to feel good and to have strength all at the same time, then you can find a way to let it line up so that all the bits are lined up and able to work with each part doing a little bit and no part doing too much. So here's a couple of tips that can help you find that place. So start out by just breathing out a little bit and settling onto the support of your bones. So finding out, what does it feel like to let your bones be in the center of you and hold your weight. So you breathe out, settle a little bit onto that support. And find out if you can let your muscles release a little bit so that they're not gripping and bracing. Just find out if it's okay. Check with your body. Does it feel safe? Does it feel reasonable? Just let yourself settle onto the support of the bones and feel the bones. And then imagine getting long in your spine. So long up the front, long up the back without getting starchy. So this idea of being able to find length, sort of feel like it's tall, like it's almost growing out the top of your head, a little sense of up. And let yourself get long and over top of those bones a bit. And then once you've got that length and you're feeling like you're settled into the bones, explore a little bit with how would you make a movement that lets that whole column of bone come underneath the work that needs to do. Every part of this column gets to help a little bit. So if I want to look up and reach for something, how can I start in my tummy and include my chest to actually get long along the whole front of myself to look up and look up at this thing and reach up there. Rather than cranking my neck and trying to look, or cranking one place in my back and trying to look, I'm finding out how can I get length along the whole front of myself to be able to reach there for something that's up high. And those things together can help you find more comfort, more freedom, more strength, all at the same time. If you'd like to know more about this, if you'd like to be able to learn a bit more about how the back works, what it is that lets your back get long, because that's a weird thing, isn't it? That your back actually gets long against gravity without feeling like you have to tense up the muscles. I actually grow taller without tensing up everything than when I'm tensing things. There's something going on in our bodies that supports that. If you'd like to know more about how to actually get and explore having freedom of movement in your back that feels safe and feels good for your body. And if you'd like to explore actually having strength with mobility and with comfort at the same time, I have a workshop coming up. On January 30th from 9:30 to 12:30, I'm giving a workshop specifically on improving the strength, the comfort, and the movement in your back. So if you'd like more information, check my website down below. I'd love to see you there. I'd love to share more of this with you. And now I have a special treat. I went down to see another Feldenkrais practitioner to get some work for myself with him. And he's a wonderful Feldenkrais practitioner, and he's also an amazing concert piano player, classical piano. And we did some fun stuff at the end of my session of lifting and moving. So, you know, I was lifting him. He's more than my body weight, and he was lifting me through a more difficult lift where we're moving my weight through space and lifting me at the same time. So you get to see that. And I've also got one other little example from Christmas that I think you'll like. All of these to demonstrate how it's possible to move yourself, and that it is possible to feel strength, feel comfort, and feel movement all at the same time in your spine and have more fun in life with that going on for you. Enjoy watching this. Thanks for being here. See you next time, and happy exploring. All the very best. So I'm here with my wonderful friend Andrew Gibbons, who's another Feldenkrais practitioner and a pianist extraordinaire as well.
All right. Yes. Wait, let's turn to the side. So
yes. Are we in there? We're in there.
We're in there. You want to lift me?
Sure, I'll lift you first.
Ah. Another Friday in New York.
Okay, there we go.
There you go.
Woo-hoo.
Woo. I don't do that after every session.
Oh yeah, piece of cake. So that you can carry your daughter around no matter how old or how big those kids become, eh?